episode 12, I believe, of Knit the Books.
I believe so.
We are a podcast by yarn and book enthusiasts for yarn and book enthusiasts. My name is Allie.
And I'm Vicki.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, good morning.
So how have you been, Mom?
Well, I've been puny the past 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go to work, and I've been achy and chilly, but I'm better today. I think a couple of days of rest and some medicine. There's a lot of people sick. I've noticed a lot of schools are closing due to sickness.
I've had a lot of families have to cancel because of sickness.
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess it's just hitting.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had literally every season except winter this past week.
We really have, and more to come. I think I saw on the news this morning it's going to be in the 60s.
Crazy.
Next week. Yep. It's crazy.
So have you finished anything?
I have, actually. I finished my windshield cowl.
Ooh.
Of course, now it's just off the needles. It's not been blocked, and I've got to weave my ends in, but it's gorgeous. I love it. I'm hoping it's rolling, but I'm hoping when I block it, I can block that out.
It will block out. It probably will still roll a little bit.
I can handle a little bit.
But it won't. It shouldn't roll up like that. I've knit, not this one, but I've knit a similar one, and when I blocked it, it kind of adds to the...
Yeah.
But I mean, look at this next to her. Look how pretty.
So, the yarn is Stranger Things by Marigold Jen, and the pattern is It's Unravel, and the name of it's Windshield.
It'll be linked in the show notes along with hopefully everything else we talk about.
Hopefully.
If for some reason I missed something, don't hesitate to ask.
And have you finished anything?
I did. I finished Max's hat, and I was actually wearing a different hat, but I wanted to get a picture of this while it wasn't on his head. And I really like it, so I'm just going to keep wearing it.
I really like it too.
The Fluid Sock Head Beanie. I'll take it off. Fluid Sock Head Beanie by Karen McCall. The yarn is from Gnome Acres and the Donatello colorway.
Oh, it's pretty. I love how it pulls. And
I do too. And I have the other Ninja Turtles, and he wants another hat out of one and socks out of the other two. So I'm thinking the other one's going to pull like this too. And he says this is the best hat I've ever knit him. I gave it to him the other day, and he only took it off for me to fix a loose stitch that I found while he was wearing it. So
cool.
He's pretty much worn it ever since then. I had to hunt it down this morning, actually, because I told him I needed it for today. And he goes, oh, that's fine. I'll just wear one of the other hats you gave me. And then I couldn't find where he put it. So it took me a while to find it. But I love it. I'm going to knit me one.
I really like it.
I don't actually have any fingering weight hats for me. I've knit him two now.
Mm-hmm.
And they are super comfortable. And I feel like we both like to wear hats a lot, so you can get more wear out of them because you can wear them like in the spring.
It looks like a really good, easy pattern too.
It is. It's straight knit basically. Our camera's doing that weird focusing thing again. I'm gonna try and edit some stuff out, but in case I can't, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing it today. But anyway, have you finished anything else?
No, I've got a half. Oh yes, I did 3 hats. For the Little Mended Hearts.
Little Mended Hearts, yes.
Aren't they sweet?
And I did 1.
They're so sweet.
I was supposed to turn them in last weekend, and the girl and I, we could not get our time fixed, but we talked this morning, and I'm going to meet her today, and it hit me today that I could have knit more. But, it just hit me today.
Oh, January. I could have done another 1 or 2.
Well, I was supposed to give them to her last weekend.
That's right.
And so I just didn't think about it until today. It's like, well, I could have snuck in 1 or 2 more. But is that all you have for finished?
That's all I have for finished.
I have 1 more. I finished my January hat for Hats for Kiddos.
I love it.
This is actually from Caron. And I don't have the tag with me. And I'm going to double check on Ravelry real quick while I talk. But I don't think I put the colorway in. I haven't even put it on Ravelry yet. Wow, I'm bad. So I will add that to my Ravelry page when I do show notes. But I found this walking around Walmart, and yeah, I love the colors. It's actually not showing up very well on camera.
It's not showing up very well.
This right here is more like a neon yellow, almost green.
Almost green. It really is almost green.
So interesting. But
did they have any other bright colors like that?
This is the only one that I remember seeing.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of found it, randomly. We were just walking down there. We were looking for something else, and I just saw it, and I picked it up. Because I didn't know they had self-striping. And as you can see, it's not really self-striping. It's more but it's striped pulling. Mm-hmm. But it does stripe, if that makes sense.
It's very cute.
I love it. And
Some
I have enough to...
love that.
I know. And I have enough to make a couple more. So.
Oh, good. Good. These are my Christmas Franken socks. They're cute. Just love all the colors.
From Haverland.
Haverland. This was her Christmas one.
And the pattern
is Pebbles by Mina Expat.
Knitting Expat. Mina Phillips.
Miller Phillips. This is her Pebbles one. I really like that little pattern.
Very cute. Really adds some lovely textures to it.
Mm-hmm.
What hill did you use?
Well,
Fish Lips Kiss Hill.
That one. That's the only hill I know how to do.
Yeah. When we taught her socks, we made sure to teach her Fish Lips Kiss Hill because I've been knitting her socks and she said that was the heel that fit her best, so we thought we'd just go ahead and start with that one.
Plus, everybody says it's the easiest one.
I don't know if it's the easiest. It's more enjoyable for me to knit.
Oh, okay.
Because like the heel flap's easy. I don't like picking up the stitches though.
Have you ever tried that After Hot Thought heel one?
I've done it once and I don't remember what I thought about it. So
okay.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm not. Whenever I finish that sock, I want to be done. I don't want to have to worry about doing the heel.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of it with self-striping, so it's not something that I'm not necessarily going to do. It's just when I'm done with my sock, I want to be done with my sock.
Mm-hmm.
But I know a lot of people like the afterthought heel too.
Yeah, I see a lot of people use it. So you got anything else?
Nothing finished, but I've knit a little bit. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen that. Like, I'm just not really been in a crafting spot. So what I've been trying to do is I'm trying to craft a little bit every day. So like one day I've got the project I showed you guys last time on my pop-out loom. I finally got it out and hanging up on a wall.
It looks nice.
I try to knit like a row or two. You know, just trying to do something every day until I get back into wanting to knit. I have been working on this. This is my reindeer kit from the Baxter and Whimsy Stitches, and the yarn was Rock and String. I haven't added much, but I've added a few stripes.
You have added a few stripes.
Let me get a little bit closer. We thought we'd try Mom closer today, since she's a little bit shorter than me. And there's dog hair. There's dog hair on everything I do.
You take your pets with you everywhere you go.
I love this yarn.
I love
this.
It's
so fun. I'm doing the slip stitch where on every color change.
I've got that pattern. I want to try that too.
It's really fun. It just adds a little bit
mm-hmm.
of something to the socks. But these colors are great. I love Rock and String. I love Whimsy Stitches. This is one of my favorite kits I've bought.
Well, I actually got one of mine done.
I thought you might have.
There's mine. It just needs blocking.
Nice. And look, I don't know if we noticed this on the podcast or if we noticed it when we were out to eat.
I think we noticed it when we were out to eat.
We didn't notice this before. Mine's a whole lot lighter than Mom's. But I feel like that's us. Like,
I think
you
that's
like the darker colors and I like brighter colors. But, you know, she added her red. If she'd had this and added the red, I don't think it would have looked as nice as it does with these darker, like the more saturated and darker greens. And
I love the turquoise. And then I've got...
oh, wow, look at you go.
Yeah, well, when you've been homesick, you can do a little knitting. So I've
When
got that much on my second
When
one.
I'm homesick, I don't. But that's just me, I guess.
Well, I've been in the recliner sick with sitting up, so it wouldn't cost so much. I always get excited. When I get to my favorite colors, it makes me want to knit it.
Yeah.
That whole bunch more. I love that.
That's what self-striping is good for.
Yeah, I love that turquoise.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, can't wait to get the turquoise. I love them all, but I really love that turquoise.
That one's your favorite.
Yep.
The only other thing I've knit on in my wonderful caffeinated Gert Frida Kala bag, I've worked on my sweater. And I think I realized when I was editing, I never said what this sweater was last time. It's Granito by Joji Locatelli. I have literally probably added 5 rows since you guys saw it last. But because I knit it, I'm going to talk about it. I'm still in the Northbound Knitting Mosaic colorway part. I counted and I'm about 30 rows away from joining. I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of this before I get to the joining part. So I'm trying to decide what color I want to do next. And oh, you know what? Let me show you guys. I'm trying to decide, since it's going to most likely be a little bit of this color at the end before I join. I'm trying to decide if I want to go ahead and add the purple, which would have been my next color anyway. Mm-hmm. Or if I want to start with the very light, won't show up gray. So, Mom, will you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Will you hold up the Granito? All right, so do I want to end with the purple or end with this light gray? And seeing it on here, I feel like the purple.
I feel like the purple, too.
So, because I think this is just too light to start with here. It needs
a little bit of
buffer.
pop. And, yeah.
I think that's what I'll do. And yeah, then I'll decide from there.
And that purple's going to be so pretty with...
This is from Rock and String. I don't know the colorway. It was from a mini skein kit that a friend of mine got me. And this is the light color. Whew.
It's so
super light. This is the light color.
It's so light silver, it's almost white.
Yeah, pretty much. From the Lydia Yarns gradient that I'm using. I don't remember what the gradient's called.
Seattle Sky.
Yes, that is right. So, and I think seeing it on camera,
mm-hmm.
I was leaning towards the purple anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think seeing it on camera really, well, I think this is going to look fine with that light gray. It needs something in between. You can't just
I think so too. I think the pop's in between.
And that was the original plan anyway. I was just not sure if I should, I just wasn't sure if I should do that with it not being around. So like there's going to be like basically here, there's going to be a little bit of purple here with the regular back. But that's really cool.
I think that would be pretty. I think it would be very pretty. Well, I have gotten, I don't remember whether, I don't think I moved. I may have moved. Anyway, I have done quite a bit more on my Calmy. In fact, I think I've got 2 more sections and I will be done. I just hope I have enough yarn. I think I do.
Well,
it's pretty big.
I was about to say, it looks like you could pretty much be done with it, honestly.
Honestly.
Is that a worsted weight? Or is it fingering?
It's
I couldn't remember. I know it's from Barrett.
Fingering.
It's fingering. Okay.
But it's a little heavy fingering, I think. But I love her. I do really like her yarn.
I really wanted to get some of this. I'm actually looking for a mustard yellow. And I was kind of hoping she would have one, and she doesn't have one that's the color I'm looking for. I'm having a really hard time finding a mustard yellow that I like. Yellow is not my color. This is a hard color for me to find. So if you guys have suggestions, please let me know. Do you have any upcoming projects you want to talk about?
For the February Hats for Kiddos, I think I'm going to go with this. I think I've got it upside down. It's a Karen Simply Soft Paints. It's turquoise, shades of turquoise with some purple in there, but that purple almost looks like a different blue. Maybe some of it is a blue.
No, there's definitely
there's some purple in there.
Purple
so pretty.
Doesn't show up on here.
And then I found this little hat because February is the month of love.
Yes, that's our Hats for Kiddos theme for February is love. While you look that up real quick, I'll talk about what I'm going to do for mine.
There you go.
I actually did buy a mustard yellow, and it ended up being a little bit more yellow than I would want, like kind of an orangey yellow. But it wasn't enough yardage for what I needed. I looked at the yardage wrong. Like, I switched the numbers. It was like, I thought it was 200 something yards and it was 120 something yards. I switched those first 2 numbers.
I've done that before.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it for my Hats for Kiddos, and I'm actually going to knit a plain hat, and with some of my red leftovers from the red hats, I'm going to do like a little color work heart.
That'll be
and that's gonna be mine.
Cute.
So,
well, I looked for a pattern with the name Love in it, and I found this one. It's by Melissa Simpson, and it's called Be Loving. But it's a very cute little pattern. So I'm going to cast that on when I get home.
That is cute.
And I think that's all my knitting stuff.
I have one more project that I'm going to start, and this is the bag Mom was looking at. This is a bag that Suzanne, our friend Suzanne, got me for Christmas. It is from Nested Designs, which is out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. I put this in here because I wanted to get started on it. I have a friend of mine who had a baby a few months ago, and I told her I was going to knit her a baby blanket, and I still haven't done it, and like it's been kind of stressing me out, but I think this has worked out because I came across randomly, thanks to Knit Picks, this pattern that's going to be perfect. His nursery is Winnie the Pooh, and she loves bees. She always has. She's always had a thing for bees. So I found this honeycomb pattern, and I forgot to have it up and ready. So I'll link to it in the show notes. I had bought this yellow. Let me get closer. It's a little bit darker than what's showing up. But it is from Knit Picks, and it is Canary. And then I also bought this black, which is also Knit Picks. This is their Bravo Sport. It's their acrylic yarn, and I actually really like it. It's really soft. I have it for my Hue Shift Afghan that I never knit, that I have that will... I need to work on that. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is use these, and the baby blanket is a honeycomb pattern. I think I sent it to you.
You did, actually.
So the black will be the outside with the yellow on the inside. I wasn't sure how this was going to look, but I looked through the finished objects and Mom has it up.
You have to do the filtering. It's going to be so cute.
It's called the Honeycomb Stroller Blanket. And let me turn the brightness down.
So cute.
That is what the black and yellow one looks like. So that's what I'm going to do. And I have it in the bag. I have needles somewhere. I put them aside specifically for this blanket. They're not in the bag yet, though. So that's my plan today, is to find those. And my crafting project for today is to get started on this.
Cool.
Hats for kiddos real quick. I know we mentioned Mango, but I just wanted to throw that in here. Thank you guys so much for submitting your January hats. We are going to pick a winner live.
Yes.
We have 18 posts. The first post, of course, being my beginning post, and then I did a post at the end thanking you guys, and, this is the end. Don't really know why I did it because I lost the thread afterwards, but whatever. So we're going to do 2 to 17. Can you see that?
I could see that.
I just want you guys to see. 2
to
to
17.
17. I'm going to hit generate. And the winner is number 15. Mom? 15 is the project bag.
Tiffany, yeah.
Let's show her little
That's
hat
a cute
on her
one.
creepy little baby. This is the hat she did, which she did in yellow and gray because those are her favorite colors. Thank you, Tiffany. If you will message Mom, so Knitty Vicki on Ravelry, she will gift you either a pattern of your choice of up to $7, or she can do a surprise from your wish list, whichever one you want.
Whichever one you want. Just send me
Thank you guys so much. And I specifically want to thank Angie in the East, because she knit her butt off in January and has like a ton of hats in there. So thank you guys so much. They're all super cute. If you have not looked through that thread, go look through that thread.
There's some of the cutest little hats.
And I love how you guys took the theme of something about you to make a hat. That was super fun. So I cannot wait to see
what your love hats are.
Exactly. So, and we'll do the same thing next month. The first episode we record in March, we will do random number generator and pick somebody live on the air, because I think that's fun.
It is fun.
So, all right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do my stats, because I know I use Goodreads a lot. I know you're on there. You don't use it.
I don't use
like
it a lot.
I do. But I keep up with my books. I do the Goodreads reading challenge and all that good stuff. So at the end of January, I had finished 6 books. That puts me at 17% met from my Goodreads challenge of 35 books read in 2017, with me 4 books ahead of schedule. So
if you keep going at that rate, you're gonna make it.
Oh, I won't keep going at that rate.
No,
January. I always read a lot more in January. So, and a couple of those I had started in December. So the cat's probably gonna join us. A couple of those I had started like in December, so they went over. And I have a couple coming over from January to February, but anyway, we'll talk about those later. So one of the books that I finished reading The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney. This one was an advanced reader copy, but it is out now. It is like a psychological thriller. I think I talked about this last time. Mm-hmm. I really, really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought the writing was very good. The characters were interesting. And I have a full review up on my blog. I'll link to it in the show notes. You guys don't have to read it, but I figured some of you might be interested. So the book description from Goodreads: a psychological thriller that spins one woman's seemingly good fortune and another woman's mysterious fate through a kaleidoscope of duplicity, death, and deception. And the hottest title at the 2015 Frankfurt Book Fair. A damaged young woman gets the unique opportunity to rent a one-of-a-kind house. When she falls in love with the sexy architect who designed it, she has no idea she's following in the footsteps of the girl who came before, the house's former tenant. The eerie parallels in the 2 girls' lives lay bare in an enthralling story and make this novel a must-read thriller of the season. This book has actually already been, the rights have already been bought, and Ron Howard is set to direct it. And I think it will make a good movie. Now that I've said that out loud, I'm kind of nervous, because I thought Girl on the Train could have been a good movie, and they did not do a good job. This book's broken up into 2 perspectives. We have Emma and Jane. Emma is in the past by about 3 or 4 years, and then Jane's in the present. Emma is the girl who lived there before. Jane is the current tenant, and Jane finds out some stuff about her, and so, like, in Jane's part, we'll find something out that Jane found out about, and then when we go to Emma's part, it will, like, talk about it more and actually be the truth. There's possibly an unreliable narrator, which is something that I enjoy sometimes when done right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he does a good job with the two-person perspective and going back and forth and having two distinct voices. The characters are very different, and I think he does a good job with separating person Emma from person Jane, like in the book. I thought it was really good.
I finally finished reading Mary Higgins Clark's Sleeping Beauty Killer, and I was very surprised at who did it. Now, as it got closer and closer to the end, as the clues were coming out, I figured out who did it right before the end, but not nowhere in the middle. But it was a good mystery. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And actually, there's a new one coming soon. I don't know whether they've even named the new one that's coming yet.
Oh, really?
But it's good, yeah.
And she wrote that with somebody? Is that what
She
you're
writes
saying?
them with Alifair Book, whoever that is.
Another one that I read was called Birds Art Life, A Year of Observation by Keo McClare. This was a memoir. Very, very pretty, very well written. Keo is feeling stuck, basically, and she's feeling like her dad's really sick, and so she's like questioning a lot of things. She's feeling stuck in her career. She's a creative person. I'm sure we all can relate to that. And so to help her with her creativity, she decides to take up bird watching. Mm-hmm. And so it's her journey through learning about birds and learning about watching birds. And it's just really interesting because it's mostly about that year, but she talks about her past some, and she talks about her family and her husband and her kids. And she has drawings throughout it. It's really, really good. I will say I was on Goodreads the other day, and the cover had changed, and it said that it was called Birds Art Life Death. So I don't know if something has changed since the book came out. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a new edition or what happened. So I need to try and look that up a little bit more. But that's the only reason I wanted to mention that, in case you go look for it. It might have a different name. Mm-hmm. So.
And my other finish is, I got an email at work. They do this thing that's called One Book. And they do a brown bag lunch. And a group reads the book, and then they discuss it. And then
it's like a book club?
Well, I don't know, because they're trying to, what they get out of the book, they want to kind of incorporate some of that into some classes.
Okay.
Somehow, so I don't know exactly. This would be my first time ever joining them and doing it. So
do they do it every month?
No, I think they do it every semester.
Every semester, okay.
Okay. This semester, they picked Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. And it was read by the author, and it was so good. It was a story of justice and redemption. It was set... He's a young black lawyer, and it's about the social injustice of people being on death row. And a lot of his customers his clients that were in prison were African American, or they were very poor people, and how they were so easily convicted, how the injustice, how...
I'm laughing at the cat.
I know you are.
I'm sorry. I just realized how rude I seemed. I'm so sorry.
It especially followed one gentleman's story who was wrongly convicted. They wanted to close the crime, and the next one they wanted to close it and pin it on him so bad. It was horrible, the things that they did. But in the end, he got out, and then it followed him some of his life. But it's a very good, interesting read of what it was and still is today, the injustice that is the social injustice on some people. I mean, I know a lot of people do commit the crimes, but you have to wonder, after reading this, there were so many wrongly convicted.
Mm-hmm. Would you recommend listening as opposed to reading?
I don't know how long I would have stayed in it reading it, honest to goodness. I've got to where I'm on this kick. I like either historical fiction,
too.
Or I like true stories that are kind of leaning this way, and then I've got that other side of me that really likes that thriller mystery stuff.
Mm-hmm. We all have. Yeah. I mean, you can't just... I don't understand how people just read one genre. Like, that would drive me nuts.
Mm-hmm. It was good, and I'm glad I listened. It was eye-opening. I grew up in a very small town, and when a lot of this stuff was going on, I didn't even know that how bad it was for African American community out there. So when you grow up in a small town, you just don't know it.
Mm-hmm. A small town that is pretty much white.
Pretty much white.
Honestly.
Honestly, yes.
So, I grew up in that town too.
For a while.
For a while. I half grew up in that town.
Half grew up in that
grew
town.
Up in this town.
But it was good, and I'm glad I did it. I'm really looking forward to the discussion Wednesday.
Speaking of social injustice, I finished listening to Adnan's story. Both in the Adnan is innocent camp. Right?
Yes, I don't think he did it at all.
Just throwing that out there. I listened to it, and I will say that I didn't. The first half I would have rather have read, and then the last half where it went back to the court, I really enjoyed listening to that, which I thought was really funny. You would have thought that I would have enjoyed listening to the first half, which was like new information about the family and about Adnan growing up, but that I think I would have rather read.
Right.
I'm not really sure why. I gave it 4 stars. I thought Rabia did a really good job writing it. You know what? I know why. Rabia, even though she's done Undisclosed, so she's used to talking, that first half of that book, her pauses were weird. She talked really quickly, but like the last half, it seemed like she really got better at her delivering. And so I think that was part of it too, where I had a hard time enjoying it at first because her pauses were weird. I know you've listened to some of it, so you can probably...
Yes, but I think I'm at the point that I've listened to so many in between it, when I go back, I'm just going to start all over.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind listening to it again, just because there's so much information about this case, and so much has happened. But yeah, if you are a serial fan, if you are a true crime, if you are into social injustice, and I think this is a good case. I know that there are other cases out there, but this one has a lot of information about it because it does have the first season of Serial. It has this book. It has Undisclosed. It has like 300 other audio podcasts just about it, so that you can get so much information about it.
I actually am thinking about even going back and listening to the Serial.
I've thought about it. There's so much that, like, I was thinking about that earlier this week. After I finished the book, actually, I was thinking about listening to Serial again, but there's so much that Serial gets wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just like, I don't know, because I don't want to listen to Undisclosed again, because Undisclosed was great, but it threw so much information at you that it could be overwhelming.
And then they would put up those little addendums to go with what they'd done, because the things had popped in, and yes.
Which they're doing a new case now, and their new addendums have John Cryer, who is Ducky from Pretty in Pink.
Yep.
And I love me some John Cryer. I love me some Ducky.
Okay, I got an email. Maybe it was Modern Miss Darcy. I can't remember where I saw it at, but I am 2 hours and 15 minutes is all I've got left, so I will finish this on the way in Tuesday morning. It's the Nazi officer's wife, how one Jewish woman survived the Holocaust. And it's more, some of the horror and stuff is there. In America, we don't have a clue. We've never been, and we have joined wars. There's never been a war held in our country in this modern times. There was the Civil War and there was a Revolutionary, yes. Yeah. But not in this.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
You know what I'm talking, and the people, it was really hard. They were hungry. They treated Jews horribly. But it's really interesting how it follows her life of how and it is what it is. That's how she survived the Holocaust. So it's good. It was actually like one of the top recommended ones to read.
I've seen, it's popped up on my Goodreads a couple of times, actually. Mm-hmm. So I was going to wait to hear what you thought about it, because I knew you were listening to it.
I like it enough, I'll probably listen to it again.
I am listening to In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I started this Thursday, I think, and I'm already about halfway done.
Oh, me.
The reader is really, really good, and I think it's just one reader. Because I was talking to Mom about it. And she does some, like, there's a voice or two that she does where I'm not 100% sure if it's her doing a voice or if it's another person. No, it's just one person, Imogen Church. But she does a really, really good job. The voices are very distinct. One of them I don't feel like fits the character, but at the same time, I can't do, like, 6 or 7 voices, so I'm not going to be too mad about it. I have read Ruth Ware's, this was her first book, I do believe. And I read her, I want to say her second book. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I read The Woman in Cabin 10 last year, and I really liked it. This one is so much better. And a couple people had told me that before, and they were correct. This is so, so good. The Goodreads description is, what should be a cozy and fun-filled weekend deep in the English countryside takes a sinister turn in Ruth Ware's suspenseful, compulsive, and darkly twisted psychological thriller. Sometimes the only thing to fear is yourself. When reclusive writer Lenora is invited to the English countryside for a weekend away, she reluctantly agrees to make the trip. But as the first night falls, revelations unfold among friends old and new, an unnerving memory shatters Lenora's reserve, and a haunting realization creeps in. The party is not alone in the woods. There's some parts that are in the present, and some parts that are in the past, but by in the past I mean earlier that week. So like it talks about what happened at this. It's her old friend from school's, Claire's hen parties, like her bachelorette party.
Mm-hmm.
So when it first starts, it's at the end of the party, and then we go back to Lenora getting her invitation, and then there's a little bit about the party, and then what's happening now. So like I'm trying to say it without giving anything away, but it's really, really good. Like I said, I've got about 5 hours left, and I might just hole up tomorrow on the loom, plug it in, and just weave my little heart away because I haven't woven since we last talked, and just go ahead and finish that book.
Oh,
So it depends on what we have to do tomorrow. As far as I know, we don't have to do anything except maybe grocery shop, but anyway.
It's a good book.
It's really good. It's really good. I think it would be fine to read too, but if you are into audiobooks, the narrator is doing a fantastic job. So I think that's a good one for audiobook.
Well, I am... I've got one more I'm reading. I actually put the Nicholas Spark ones aside for a little while. I just couldn't get into it. I'll have to go back to it. And I do that quite a bit, actually. I'm bad about if I get into it and I don't like it, I'm done.
Well, here's my thing. I think we talked about this last time. You can read a book at one point in your life and not like it, and then read it another point and enjoy it. So sometimes I like to give books a couple more chances before I decide I'm completely done with it, because it could just been the wrong time for that book.
Yes, because I'm more into I actually have found I'm enjoying this other stuff I'm listening to and reading. I like to keep my mysteries more for reading. I don't know how I would do with a real scary mystery to listen to it. It might scare me. But anyway, I am reading Joy Fielding's Someone is Watching, and what it is about, it is Bailey Carpenter is the main character, and she came from a very rich background. She went to college she could be a lawyer, 2 or 3 things, but what her job is, she is a criminologist or something, and she does like PI work for a law firm. And she went out, I've gotten into, I think I'm like on the 3rd chapter, and she went out and was doing a stakeout, and she got brutally attacked.
Oh.
Yes. So, but they did it so quick in the story, it was like chapter 1 and then chapter 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, deeply shaken after a brutal attack, Bailey Carpenter struggles to reclaim control over what once seemed like a neatly ordered life. Unable to face her job, her friends, or even the world outside her apartment, Bailey is trapped with her thoughts, replaying the attack in her desperate search for every detail that will help the police uncover the identity of her unknown assailant. Bailey sees her attacker in the face of every stranger and is unable to trust anyone other than her half-sister Claire and Claire's snarky teenage daughter Jade. To pass the time in her lonely apartment, Bailey plays with the binoculars she once used in her career as a private investigator. Scanning the high-rise buildings around hers for entertainment, she quickly discovers her favorite source, a handsome, wealthy playboy in the apartment across the street. As she watches him strut around his apartment, she starts to wonder if he's putting on a show with her as his intended. Looking out the window one night, she sees him looking tauntingly right back at her, binoculars in hand. Could it be the assailant she's been so desperate to identify has been right there watching her the whole time? But the police believe she's crying wolf, and Claire tries to convince her she's wrong. Doubting her own sanity, Bailey only has Jade left to turn to, and together the two hatch a dangerous plot to discover just what exactly is going on in the apartment across the way.
Creepy,
and it is good though.
That sounds interesting.
It is interesting. I will.
I might pick that one up. I'm also reading on my Kindle I Hate Everyone Except You. This is a memoir from Clinton Kelly, who I think is on the Chew now, but I know him from What Not to Wear. And I'm gonna be honest, I was really excited to read this. It's just a collection of essays that he wrote. The first essay, he had body shaming in it, which I was like really upset with, because I'm like, you worked with all these women. This is my benefit of the doubt, though. This was when he was a kid, like I think 13.
Oh, okay.
So maybe this was from his perspective as a 13-year-old. I think I read the first 3 of his essays, and I think the third one was about what not to wear. And he doesn't have anything negative to say about the people on it. He doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about Stacy and the show itself, but it's not like slanderous or anything. It's just personality clashing and differences of opinion and things like that. So I'm gonna continue reading it, but that I haven't wanted to read it because I think I could have had it done pretty quickly. But
probably.
But that first one really bugged me. But like I said, I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt of maybe
a young person.
Well, he was talking about it from his perspective as a 13-year-old, not his perspective as a
adult.
As an adult.
Could
so.
be.
Are you reading anything else?
No, that's it.
I'm also reading The Bad Beginning, a series of unfortunate events, book 1. Max and I watched the series of unfortunate events Netflix series, and it was really good. It wasn't, like, the first 2 episodes were really, really good. 3 and 4 were kind of 5 and 6 were kind of 7 and 8 were kind of But, I mean, it was really good. We really enjoyed it. I really liked the 2004 movie with Jim Carrey. I thought it was good. I didn't have the books to compare it to because I know some people don't really like it. And I kind of see it now. I've only read the first chapter of this book. These books are like ridiculously short. And they're actually, the audio ones are read by Tim Curry.
Oh, fun.
And if I had known that, I think I'm going to do the audiobooks with the other ones just because of that. Because I love Tim Curry so much. But I had the first one. I got that on a Kindle deal for like a couple of dollars. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first one and then get the other ones from Audible. Just because that's just too fun. Well, I think that's all we have today.
I think so.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yes.
The end of February. Don't forget, Hats for Kiddos. The theme this month is love. Interpret that any way you want. Can be, yarn that you love, even if you want to go that way, or a color that makes you think of love, a pattern that has hearts on it, or has love in the title, whatever.
Yes.
However you guys want to spin it. We're not too picky.
And so you get your hat, your yarn and your pattern picked, and get it cast on, let it snow. When you get it off, take a photo of it, get it in the group, and somebody will win a pattern of their choice or off their wish list.
Yep.
Next time. It'll be done the first episode in March for February hats.
You can find me on Ravelry Instagram as Crafty Allie.
And me as Nitty Vicki.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.